Hello and welcome to the Mal and Johnny Show. Now, I'm not sure if you've been keeping an eye on the news, but there seems to be a lot of talk about parties. So we thought that, Johnny and I thought that might be a good peg to talk about some of the parties that we've been to. Not all of them involved cake. I think we can fairly say that. Some of them had more than cake in the parties. I mean, are you a party person, Johnny, in general, or is it just the showbiz parties that you're remembering now?
I don't have parties per se. I mean, I had a big party for my mother-in-law's 90th birthday because she was still as sharp as a tack.
Yeah.
And Sassy Reese, who the Welsh people will know.
Oh, yes.
Because she was quite famous on Welsh radio.
Yeah.
All the children's for her. And she invited everybody. She gave me a load of money. She says, get it organised. And I had a marquee that worked. And I had something like about 60 or 70 people in my house.
Wow, fantastic.
She had a great time. Yeah. So I don't really throw parties, but as you say, I've been to plenty of showbiz parties. What about you?
Yeah, and it's funny, I suppose, because I started off quite young, and it was the Elton John phase, as I always, most podcasts, I usually mention Elton, but those parties were incredible. The first party I really remember in that sort of instance was after his performance at the Hammersmith Odeon, as it was called then, and it was in Covent Garden, in some loft in Covent Garden, and I walked in because my brother was my chaperone. We left the concert, got a taxi, went straight there, and the guy behind the bar looked familiar. He was the barman, and I was trying to place him with my brother. It was Graham Chapman from Monty Python. You know, the guy who played Brian.
Yeah.
He was actually the barman for the night. Cat Stevens was there early. He looked like a gunslinging cowboy, and then when Elton arrived, he took me around with my autograph book, and he got everybody to sign. So it was Ringo Starr was there, Brian Ferry.
Because you were a young kid, weren't you?
I was 13 years old then. He was 13 years old at that Christmas party, which was amazing.
Yeah, well, the only party of that type of ilk. Well, I've had a couple actually. One was at the Bunny Club in London, in Park Lane.
Oh, Johnny, be careful now. Be careful. What can you tell us?
Well, not a lot really, but my record company at the time was President Records.
Right.
And I just made my first record. So Kastner, who was the boss, he threw his party to launch my record at the Bunny Club. I'd never been there before. I was about 20, I think.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. All these girls go down, rather good-looking girls. And you can imagine a kid of 20, all these girls. And they were all different people from the record company and the press and so on and so forth. I don't remember a lot about one of the biggest parties I used to go to lots of parties in Dorothy Squire's house.
Oh, come on.
Because she used to throw parties like they're going out of style,
Yeah.
Because everybody knew Dot. And if anybody was in town, they'd be invited to one of these parties. And I was in there one day, and I was sat by... Do you remember Malcolm Roberts, the singer?
Oh, the singer, yes. Yeah, great singer.
Yeah, love is all I have to give. He was sitting to the right of me, and a bloke with a big fuzzy haircut was sitting to the left. So I said to Doc, because it was packed, I said, who's this bloke? He never said a word. He just sat there, And it was what's his name, that committed murder? What the
Phil Spector. Phil
Spector. He sit next to me.
Wow.
He never said a word all night. He said dark glasses on, and obviously I don't know it was a wig.
Right.
It was a big fuzzy hairdo,
Yeah.
But she used to invite everybody, and she used to have people like Diana Dawes that turn up, and Shirley Bassey, and all the, anybody that was in town would go to her parties.
Wow.
And I remember Emily telling me once, her niece, that she was there once. They all sang a song.
All right.
I was in Dot's party. She had to get up and sing a song. That was what she used to do. See, so she asked Jackie Trent to get up. And Tony Hatch was there, and she didn't want to get up and sing a song. Said, you'll never be a star. And a couple of profanities came out. Johnny, you're going to have to sing then. I said, oh. So she had the audacity then to ask Tony Hatch to play for me.
Of course, Tony Hatch wrote, you were Downtown and all those big songs, didn't you?
Yeah. And I think I sang, so I said, I Want to Be Around. It was the Tony Bennett number. I Want to Be Around. And he played it for me. He was a great player.
Yeah.
But there was all these kind of people used to be there. And there was one day, as Diana Dawes was there, Shirley Bassey, and first of all, Dorothy got up and sang a song.
Right.
And then Shirley Bassey got up to sing a song. And of course, then Diana Dawes was going to get up. Now, Diana Dawes was a lovely woman.
Great singer.
She couldn't sing like those two. So Emily said she felt really sorry for having to get up to follow those two. You know what I mean?
Oh, my gosh.
There were some good parties in Dot's house.
And because she had the swimming pool and everything, didn't she? She had the big outside pool.
Huge swimming pool. And it was like, well, I don't know how big it was. It was quite big. Mm-hmm. And she had a big party there once. I got a picture of it. I'll send it to you, actually.
Lovely.
Where she had, she threw a party to raise money for the kidney Foundation because her brother had died of kidney failure, and she had every star in known to human science there, and they were all outside and they were around the pool. And I've got a picture of her with Russ Conway on one side and Cliff Richard on the other. Wow. And then I'll send it to you. You can put it up and have a look.
Yeah. And the thing is, so those are two different types of showbiz parties because, launching an artist, that was always something. They had to do a bit of a splash, didn't they?
That's right.
I think when my first recordings came out, I mean, it wasn't that much of a splash. It was at the Inn on the Park. In the park in London, and to be honest, I didn't really think very much about it. And they got I had a little guitar, little setup, did some of the songs just on my own, and didn't realise all the sort of people who because they'd invite everybody in the industry,
all the press
be there, and the TV producers and radio producers, and then they hope that something will then will trigger off from that sort of thing.
But, they used to throw money at records in those days,
and
they used to put you on Radio Luxembourg and pay £100 a week to get the power play, so they'd be played every hour.
Wow. So let me think of a couple of parties that we started doing a lot of showbiz parties as the house band. It started with it was an event in Swansea, a charity event, and the guest of honour was David Emanuel, together with Joan Collins. Bonnie was going to do. Bonnie did a couple of songs. We'll come to her now, I'm sure. Bonnie was going to do. Bonnie Tyler was going to do a couple of songs with the band, and we were waiting. And I'm not sure I can say this. Anyway, it's like we were waiting for the Queen to arrive. Because the white Rolls Royce lined up, and as we were marched out to meet the Queen as she came up, Joan. Something along the lines that we weren't going to all bow and curtsy, with a couple of extra, words of description in there, which made me smile. But because of that, we got invited to do like Linda Lusardi's party. Did I ever tell you about Linda Lusardi's wedding?
I think you did, yeah.
It was amazing.
I don't know Linda Lusardi, but I've seen her husband. He's a singer.
Sam Kane, lovely.
Yeah,
oh,
that's him. Yeah,
they're a lovely couple, and they, sometimes when you're booked to do a gig, you change in the toilets, and then they bring you out.
We always change in the toilet.
they gave us a table. They gave us our own table for the band. They made us feel welcome. I remember, there was a really pretty girl in the corner with Les Dennis. Turned out to be Amanda Holden.
Right.
A little bit aloof, but like Lionel Blair was there, and one of the moments, and I have mentioned this before, but my guitarist Tim Hamill is 6'3", 6'4", and everybody was coming up and doing a song with the band. Do you know this? Do you know this? Yeah, come on, right. Off we go. And then this little guy, Eddie Large, came up to do
Eddie,
All Right Now. And the only microphone that was free was the one with the guitarist. And there's this 6'4" guitarist trying to put the microphone down for Eddie Large.
Yeah, he's a nice bloke, was Eddie. I mean, he had a heart transplant,
He did he? Oh.
Yeah, and he died, unfortunately. I think it was about a year or two ago. But he was hell of a nice
chap. It was. But
the show business parties, whenever we did pantos, there'd always be last night parties, and they usually hold them on the stage. They'd throw the tabs, all the sets being cleared, so use the whole size of the stage and throw a big party for all the cast.
Right.
And it was great, until the end, and all the dancers were crying because it was the end of the season. And I always, another party once where I was on tour with Dorothy. We were down in Brighton. She'd just done the Dome in Brighton. And it was me and, I forget who was on the bill altogether, a fellow called Pancho Villa. He was a Spanish type comedian. He was actually from Oldham, but he used to speak in a Spanish accent. He used to come on and go, "Hello there, sweaty hat." Anyway, because at the end of every show of Dorothy, she always had a party in her dressing room.
Yeah.
And after a couple of minutes, she'd have a couple of drinks to unwind, and then you'd see the eyelash coming off, and you'd think, "Hang on, I'm going now, because somebody's going to get sacked." And she'd say, "You be careful, John, in that car of yours. I'll see you tomorrow." And so I go. And when I got back, I said, "Who got sacked last night?" "Oh, it was the publicity guy, or it was the agent. Somebody got sacked." Oh God!
Okay, the worst party, because we did a lot of weddings and birthday parties, big birthday parties, and it's interesting because they'd always have, because the people had only never done a party before, they'd done few parties, and because we'd done a lot of them, you get used to when the right time to go on is, because they say like we're doing at 9, finish off at 10, we're doing at 10, 12.
Oh, I know.
And I go, do you know what? Can you trust us? Because there is a golden moment. there's a golden moment, particularly in weddings. If you go too early in a wedding, you fight in them. And if you go too late, they've had too much to drink. But if you get that golden moment, and I in the band, we're going, we're nearly there, There's just like everybody wants to party, and they're getting ready to party, and they've done all the talking, right, let's party. And then you go for an hour and a half or hour and 3/4, and it's just great. Well, but we did Rob Brydon's wedding. Lovely lad, Rob Brydon. And again, you know, there were a lot of interesting people there, faces that you recognise. And it was in a hotel. Now, this was the worst thing about it. The stage had a little bulb above us, above the stage, okay?
Yeah.
And the idea was it was connected to a sound monitor.
You've been those. Go on.
They monitor the volume of sound.
Yeah.
And if you go too loud, the light comes on, okay?
Yeah.
And if the light stays on for 5 seconds, the power to the stage gets cut.
That's right. Yeah.
So all night long, we're starting to get going and see the light go. It was the worst night because the last thing you want to do is concentrate on a light bulb being lit.
That's right.
When there's a crowd out there dancing and wanting, you know, Rob came up, did a couple of Tom Jones. I expect he did Tom Jones songs. That's what he normally did with us. And it's like it was horrendous because you know
they used to have those in clubs. Did they? Oh. And I think I was in a club once singing along, and there was a hooter went off. I said, what the hell's going on? Too loud. I remember doing an audition, my audition for Opportunity Knocks.
Yeah.
And it was in a rehearsal studios in London called Dingley Studios, I think. And there was a sign that said, no tap dancing, because obviously there's lots of different levels. And if you're tap dancing, there's only an audition downstairs, there's a hell of a noise, right? Yeah. But this was my first audition for Op Knocks. I thought, well, I'm not going to not dance because this is crazy. I'll chance my arm. Mm-hmm. So I'm doing the act, and I started to dance. Goes off goes this bell, bring, bring. But I'd done it then, so she could see what I did.
Sorry, always ask for forgiveness, not permission, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah. There was another party when I was in Monte Carlo. Name dropping again.
Yeah, nice.
When the season finished, we did a month there. See, me and the girls, 4 girls dancers and me. And we're packing up to go. And there was this other room, and it was full of food and champagne. And I said, what's going on in there? He said, it's for you. I said, what do you mean it's for me? It's your party. You're leaving. And they gave me this wonderful party. Wow. Yeah. I couldn't believe it. It was like real show business, if you know what I mean. Yeah. I got paid good money and had a party.
At the end of it, fantastic. Parties that you didn't go to. I got an invitation because I was managed by a guy called John Reid, who was Elton John's manager, but he was also Queen's manager.
Wow.
And I got for John Reid and Freddie Mercury's joint party. And because I was in school, I was probably doing my O-levels, and it was on a Sunday night, and I wasn't sure whether I could stay. I had to say no, I can't. Can you believe turning down Freddie Mercury's birthday party?
Well, the thing is, sometimes you have to turn down and you kick yourself after thinking back, don't you?
Yeah.
I remember once I was about to do a summer season in Rhyl with Lonnie Donegan. I think I told you about it. But the night before, I was doing a gig at the Grosvenor House. No, it wasn't. It was the other one. Was it the Grosvenor? Anyway, it was one of those big ones.
Dorchester,
Park Lane.
Yeah.
And it was a sportsman's aid gig.
Right.
See? So I finished my act, and this guy comes up to me, a very suave guy in a dinner suit and that. He said, you want to come to the Colony Club? He said, I'm the owner of the Colony Club, he said. And at the moment, we got George Raft is there. He's been our front man, he said, and he can do a lot for you, right?
George Raft?
So I thought...
Tell us his background. Tell us his background as George Raft. Come on.
Well, George Raft, big film star, but he was also a mafia guy, you see.
Yeah.
You remember he used to toss the coin in all the films. You know?
Yeah.
He's always played that. And apparently he taught the Prince of Wales, the old Prince of Wales, how to do the tango. Anyway, that's another story. But anyway, so I said, well, I can't. I'm due up in Rhyl. I got to drive tonight, overnight to get. And I turned it down. Mm. But then a week later, George Raft went out of the country, back to America, and he tried to get back, and they blocked him because they knew he was mafious. Yeah. He was fronting this club,
I think
and it was a way of getting the mafia guys in.
Mates with the craze.
The things you miss, you could have done. I could have met George Lack. You never know. He could have took me to Vegas.
So obviously we started this at the beginning about parties in Westminster, didn't we? That sort of like triggered us off. So I've now got some confessions to make about some parties I've done at the House of Commons.
What, during lockdown?
No, years and years before. So it was. It happened. I think it must have been the first ones. Must have been 1989, 80, something like that. Anyway, I was doing some stuff for HTV in those days, and the Welsh Labour Party used to have a regular Christmas party in a place called the Jubilee Rooms. Now, when you go to Westminster, there's the House of Commons, and then there's the Great Hall of Westminster, which goes back to Henry VIII's time and all. In fact, they found tennis balls from Henry VIII when he used to play tennis. I mean, when you say it's enormous, it's where Charles I was committed to have his head chopped off. It's when the bombs hit London, they let the House of Commons burn, but they saved. Anyway, you go up the little stairs and there's the Jubilee Room. So we were asked to go up a little concert party together. Ronu Prothero, I'm not sure if you know Ronu. Ronu was asked to
Ronu, yeah.
Little concert party together. So I went there, Mark Burrows, I took a guitar, and it was just one of those magical nights because everybody in the room, once they'd had a couple of little glasses, so it was the whole of the Welsh Labour Party, and then a couple of others would pop along as well, for some famous faces, and everybody got up and did a song from Neil Kinnock. Wow. So in those days it would be Neil Kinnock and the MP for Neath, and they do the Beaux Gendarmes. I mean, they must have done it at every conference. That was their tune, and then a guy from the Northeast would do the Bladen races. But it became a regular fixture. So we did this Welsh Labour party, well, probably on and off for the last 25 years. Wow. And it was interesting to see the change, because in the early days, the Welsh Labour Party had some people who were close to government, or, like, not John Morris, Merlin Rees, who I mistook him for John Morris, and he said, youngsters these days, and I think he was Secretary of State for something, or anyway. And then, so when Neil Kinnock became leader of the opposition, so he would come to the party, and then, of course, all the entourage of people who want to be close to the new leader of power, so everybody would turn up, It would just like suddenly, and it was interesting seeing how the room revolves around people of power. I'm not sure if you've noticed that. When somebody very famous walks in, suddenly... It's like,
and not only that, they're looking for a job.
For a job. I mean, I remember it was Neil Kinnock was singing, he's leader of the opposition, and somebody was made some comment, rubbish, and he said, "There's no guessing who's going to be the new, the Secretary of State for Northern Ireland," because it was dodgy in those days. So, and somebody pointed out that somebody was Scottish Mafia in the end. I know it's like all these little secrets were coming out.
But HTV used to have a Christmas party every year. I remember. Did they used to have it in the top rank or something? Or I'm going back a long way now. When it was down in Pontcanna. And I always remember I was invited, when I go along, and one bloke said to me, "You know what's different about you?" I said, "What?" He said, "You're the only one who's got a dress suit that fits you." I said, "It's because it's my working coat." Because only just have enough for paying on it, just ironed it for the night. They some good news, HCB. I miss the old Pontcanna days. It was a lovely little studio. I liked the atmosphere there.
Yeah, it was great, wasn't it? Yeah.
Because when I was about 15, that's when my father had the pub in Llanishen in Cardiff. And he knew a lot of the guys because it was just being set up then down there. TWW.
Yes.
Or South Wales and the West, it was called.
Yeah.
And there was a great atmosphere there. It was like very friendly. Well, like the BBC used to be.
Yes.
You'd walk in the BBC anytime, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Go up to Ruth Price's office. "Hey, John, how's it going? A cup of tea?"
Yeah.
It's all gone now. You've got security and oh my God.
Yeah. One last story. It was at the time. Like when Labour were in power, we were still doing it. Got a little bit more serious, I think. Because I remember at one stage we would finish the party, and then we'd go back to the leader of the opposition's office for curry and whiskey. It was just wonderful. That was just wonderful. But Gordon Brown was there, and he must have been Chancellor of the Exchequer, so he came along to the party, and so obviously we did a couple of Calon Lan and stuff like that, but then it'd be into party mode, and we do I wanna wait till the midnight hour. So it's going well in every party.
Was that Clarence Clear? Was it Clearwater Revival?
Was it Otis Redding? Anyway, it was one of those, great stuff. And so obviously very respectful. Gordon Brown finished the song, and he said, "I've got to go now, but I got to tell you, I love those old Welsh folk tunes.
Well, hey, I got to tell you this last thing.
Come on.
I was in Africa, right? And the gig I was doing was in the Royal Swazi Spa, big, beautiful hotel.
Right.
And it caught fire while I was there. So I had to finish my gig in the other hotel, which was adjoined to it down the road. Yeah. But it was like more like a restaurant type thing. So this American comedian came in called, oh my God, what's his name? Not one Bob Newhart, but it was somebody like that. Anyway, he didn't want to work in there. He said it was a cafeteria, okay? So the boss said, well, go and watch John. It's a good room, blah, blah, blah. So Alwyn was with me, and she got up to sing a Welsh folk song with me, right? Mm-hmm. We sang Beguiled Gwyneth Gwyn. So this American said, gee, I just love the ethnic people. The ethnic, I felt like an red Indian, doing it.
Oh, Johnny. God. Well, if you got any parties coming up, remember to invite me, and I'll bring the cake.
I tell you what, we got to get together for a curry or something. This is getting mad now.
It's ridiculous, I know.
What's the situation in your house? Any problems with the old COVID?
No COVID, I'm not allowed out. It's like I'm being,
why is that?
Too many grandchildren and worried kids, but there we are. It'll soon get better, I'm sure, Johnny.
It's getting better all the time.
Getting better all the time. Oh, good stuff. All right, well, have a great week, and I'll see you soon. So it's goodbye from him.
That's goodbye for me. But and you.
All of us. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.